one. That's two. Hi there. I'm Mike Morales. You are watching and listening to Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media on all of our channels. I'm here in sultry San Antonio where it's really muggy and hot. And that gentleman out there is
Eric Zandona in Vancouver, Washington.
Eric and I are social distance drinking because we invented it, of course. I don't know when you'll see this video, but who knows, who could be out of quarantine. But right now we're in the day after Father's Day. But we're so booked up that, you may not see this till Christmas. Who knows? This is interesting, though, Eric. We've got rushed these bottles. Today we are going to talk about El de Bateo. Mezcal artesanal, and we wanted to break this on camera. It comes wrapped in a paper bag, but it's really very rustic. I think it's kind of a cool deal. It's got wrapped in twine, and I got believe it or not, we did a mezcal the other day that came with it was an emblazoned like goat skin that you could wrap around the bottle. Gift goat skin. It was really kind of cool.
Yeah.
This is a liter bottle. Is that right?
Yeah. Yep. It's a liter.
Okay. As usual, we're gonna drink some first, and then we're gonna ask questions later. But this is it's a rarity to see a mezcal or an artisanal mezcal come in a liter bottle. So that leads me to believe right off the bat that I think this is being imported by Henry Priest, and we appreciate them making this happen for us. But I guess are they going for like a well mezcal or something? Because
so what information I got from them was essentially that the maestro has something like 700 acres of his own land with agave, and so he has access to plants, so he doesn't have the same price pressure that people have who are buying agaves on the open market. And so I think that's part of it. And then he apparently, the maestro also oh wow, that's nice.
Yeah, that is really cool.
He manages 4 distilleries in Tlacalula in Oaxaca.
Oh wow. So he's the big dog then.
Yeah.
One of the big dogs.
He's got quite a big operation, but still working in the artisanal style, which means, copper pots, pit roasted agaves, natural fermentation, all of that sort of stuff.
Yeah, the fibers have to go into the fermentation, and they use a taona, I think.
Yeah.
So the method, because in order to be, for those of you that don't know or you're just experimenting with mezcal, there are a couple of categories that mezcal has to fall into in order to be called mezcal. One can just be mezcal, which is anything, even those made with a diffuser. Then there's artisanal mezcal, which has to have certain stipulations, and then there's ancestral, which is even more rustic, and those use the barro to distill. So
the shorthand I like for ancestral is essentially there's no metal contact in the production of the spirit. So they're crushing it with like wooden mallets, they're fermenting in wood or cowhide, and then they're distilling in clay. So sort of a shorthand.
So no metal. I like that. It's pre-Bronze Age. Oh gosh, we just went off on a deep end. Now, the nose on this is really pretty. Now, I'll tell you right now, this is an 80 proof mezcal, so it's not coming in at a higher proof, and it's just lovely. It is really nice. It's fruity.
Yeah, really nice, bright, fruity character. It's got it's got a real nice, interesting mix of like, I would say like grapes and citrus and maybe mango. It's just got lots of really fun floral, fruity notes to it.
Yeah, I think bright is a really good descriptor because it's just like happy to be alive. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's and the legs and tears, they're sheeting down nicely, so
Mhm.
it's not thick or cloying. There's no additives to it. It's
Yeah.
just very natural, and even to look at it, it's a Joven obviously, so
Yeah.
it's not being aged at all. I read the notes, some of the tasting notes on this. I'm not sure exactly what that where that they came from. You know, the citrus and like I get like lime zest on.
Hmm. Yeah.
Tell me what lemon verbena is. What is that,
Lemon verbena is
and
an
how do you
herb.
detect it? Because it's an herb. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So lemon verbena is an herb that has like that, whatever that chemical compound is, I don't know the name of it, that gives citrus plants, citrus oils, their aroma.
Uh huh.
You know, and obviously there are different concentrations, and so that's why like lemons and limes smell different. And
Yeah,
so
yeah.
verbena has that. It's sort of like, you know, in the same way like lemongrass, which is an herb that you find in, say, Thai cooking, kind of tastes like lemon, but it's not lemon. Or
Right.
lemon basil tastes like lemon, but it's not lemon. So it all has those same compounds. So I think it's a small, like leafy herb, as for what I remember, but I might be wrong.
No, I remember when I lived in New Mexico. One of the things that I enjoyed during springtime is there were bushes throughout the neighborhoods
Hmm.
that were, we call them Spanish broom. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but they
Yeah.
have yellow blossoms on them, and when they bloom, you can smell the blossoms like across the street, and they smell. I swear to God, they smell like lemon blossoms. Because when
Mhm.
I grew up in Southern California, we had a lemon tree, and we still do. It's still there. It was a it's a weird combo of a lemon and an orange tree that kind of fused together.
Yeah.
So, but as growing up, the lemon blossoms, and so it reminded me a lot of lemons because
Mhm.
that's what they smell like, lemon blossoms.
Yeah.
So I imagine it's the same sort of compound. Then
Yeah.
it's a lemon, but not quite. So
Yeah.
I,
Exactly.
I just I needed some clarification from the referee here. So, well, let's dive in because
Yeah.
this
Let's
is
taste it.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Wow, there's a lot of character in this.
There is. And so the 40 at 40% or 80 proof, it's very mellow on the palate. There's still a lot of flavor.
Yeah.
It's light. There's some nice kind of it's got a nice body still, even
Yes.
with how light it is. And there's lots and lots of layers of flavor. So I think again, this is where both the bottling size at 1 liter and 40% ABV, I think that's going to let them get to a price point where they might be competitive in, say, a well. So you might, you know, I think their aim is to start showing up in, you know, once bars and restaurants start opening up, you'll start seeing this as the well option for mezcal. It's got great flavor. Could easily use this in some sort of like tequila drink, or with a traditional sort of mezcal cocktail, or just on its own. It's got nice.
Yeah, you know, so it's surprising to me that I guess things are going well for the this particular master distiller, and I I'm really impressed with the amount of structure and body this mezcal
Mhm.
has because it's really substantial, even at 80 proof.
Yeah.
It's I mean there are others that are maybe a little higher at 42 that don't have this much body. You know, there's
Yeah.
a lot going on, especially at mid palate to the rear,
Mm-hmm.
and because it's just a really as far as smokiness goes, it's very light, if at
Very
all.
light.
It
Yeah.
to me, it's even more mineral than
Yeah.
smoke.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of minerality to it. To me, the smoke kind of comes on the like retro name. Like after you've swallowed, there's like retro olfactory thing that there's a little bit of hint of smoke along with the minerality. But yeah, like up front, it's really bright and sweet, and then mid palate, it gets really there's some like savory sweetness from like the cooked agave, and it's really, I think it was really nice.
Wow, it's almost a. I hate to say it, but it's almost wrong to put this in a well. But what a concept!
Yeah.
If they,
I mean, people are doing it, and in more upscale cocktail bars, people have been using Vita or other sort of less expensive price point mezcals in the artisanal range, and so I think there's definitely a market for it.
well, they didn't spend any money on packaging. I mean, it's
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. All the goodness is in the juice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's interesting now that I was Alex and I had done a tasting of a really beautiful tequila, but the packaging was stunning, and we spend so much time telling people to don't be put off by the ugly bottle, and in the reverse for that tequila, it's like we had to tell people don't be put off by the pretty bottle. There's really really good juice in here because.
Yeah.
How many times have you and I seen a really beautiful packaging, and one of the somewhere along the line it falls flat on his face?
Right.
We saw that a couple of times last year, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
But
yeah, that's the thing. Like with some tequilas, there can be more style than substance. Here, there's a lot of substance, and I think again, this is all part of their kind of target. In its packaging. But to me, this is like, I remember I was on a Zoom meeting, as lots of people are doing nowadays,
sure.
with some mezcaleros, and one of them was talking about how basically all he drinks is espadín. He makes all sorts of stuff, but all he really drinks is espadín. And this to me is like mezcalero espadín. It's not high proof, but it's just like, what do you want to have on an average day? It's a Wednesday, it's a Monday. Like, let's have.
Yeah. It's an everyday. It's not a celebratory like we had seen some of the bacanoras that we've had.
Yeah. It's like if you're buying $120 bottle of mezcal, like how often are you going to be breaking that open?
Not a lot, and especially if it's from the other style, the other plants like a Madre Cuchet, a Tepestate, one of Karwinski's.
Something you can drink, not worry about it.
Yeah, well, if he's got that much acreage and he's working. This is produced by. Oh, hey, now here's the thing. It's produced by Araceli del Carmen Palacios Aguilar, so it's a female Maestra Mezcalero.
No, so the Araceli is the like export company, and the maestro is further down. Arasto Martinez.
Arasto Martinez. I'm sorry. Okay, I read that incorrectly. Okay, so Araceli would be who would that be? The exporter?
Like the bottler and exporter.
Okay. Okay. See. Yeah. Sometimes I guess my best bet is to when all else fails, just get a good QR code reader and snap that tag and
that, and I'll tell you.
Yeah, it'll tell you everything you need to know, and
here on the bottom it says Arasto Martinez.
Yeah. And so now I got bottle 2600, and this is lot B
2622.
Oh, okay. This is really good. I have to say, you'll agree with me, Brand Prize nominee.
Yeah.
Now this is, I gotta say, for an 80 proof mezcal. This is, and I know that I have to put them in certain categories when we have them on the ballot, but for an entry level for a gateway mezcal, this has got so much character. It stands up to. You would think that it's actually at a higher ABV, like 42, 45 and above. Because this is really substantial. But yeah, it's a like you said, it would be a great everyday sipper. And if you want to put it in the cocktail, you can, but it'll stand up.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. That's
terrific.
Well,
no, one last sip.
One last sip before we go. But that's our take on El de Bateo. Do we know why it's called El de Bateo?
That's a good question.
There's no story. We didn't get. We got flavor notes and everything, but we didn't get a lot of the.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, and there's not a whole lot of information on the back as far as the story goes. So we had to rely on Eric, to figure out the inside scoop, because you won't find it on the label, folks. There's no story behind it. So
I think they have a website with some information about the maestro and stuff, but yeah, it's the information. It's brand new brand. Like I think these are the first bottles that we have in the U.S.
Yes, and you saw it and tasted it here first on Tequila Aficionado and Sipping Off the Cuff. That's our take on El de Bateo. I'm Mike Morales here in San Antonio. That gentleman out there is
Eric Zandona in Vancouver, Washington.
You have been sipping, watching, and listening to Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media. Subscribe wherever you download your podcasts. And if you're watching us on, who knows, YouTube, press that red button, subscribe, hit the notification bell. That way, every time we upload a video with Eric's name on it, you'll be notified on your hot little cell phone. And whatever you do, tomar sabiamente.
Sip wisely.